Let me ask you something. What if the miracle you've been praying for, hoping for, waiting for, isn't somewhere out there? What if it's already here, patiently orbiting your field, just waiting for one thing, for you to tune into the frequency where it lives? Because that's the truth. The universe isn't hiding anything from you. It's not withholding blessings until you prove yourself. It's not waiting for the perfect time to deliver. The universe is simply responding to the signal you're broadcasting. And that signal, that's your frequency. Everything in this universe is energy, vibrating, oscillating, moving in patterns of information and potential. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, they all emit energy. And that energy in turn becomes your signature, a frequency, a signal. And that signal is what the quantum field listens to, not your words, not your wishes, but your vibration. You see, tuning into the frequency of miracles isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more coherent, more aligned, more present. It's about harmonizing your heart and mind, creating a resonance so clear that the field cannot ignore it. It's like tuning a radio. When you're off by even a fraction, all you hear is static. But once you're dialed in, the signal becomes pure and the song begins to play. So what does it mean to tune into that frequency? It means stepping out of survival. It means shifting from stress to trust, from fear to gratitude, from control to surrender. It means understanding that miracles aren't manufactured, they are magnetized. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how things seem to align effortlessly when you feel good? How synchronicities appear? How doors open without you forcing them? That's not coincidence. That's coherence. That's alignment. That's you becoming a match to the reality you desire. And science is catching up. The HeartMath Institute has shown that when the heart and brain are in coherence, when your emotional state is elevated and your thoughts are clear, you emit a measurable electromagnetic field that influences not only your own physiology, but also the space around you. You literally become a tuning fork, resonating with new possibilities. Now imagine this. You wake up in the morning and instead of checking your phone or recalling yesterday's worries, you sit in silence. You breathe deeply. You place your attention in your heart. You recall a moment of deep gratitude, love, or joy, and you let that feeling expand. In that moment, you are broadcasting a new signal. You are no longer tuned into the past. You are broadcasting from the frequency of the future you want to create. That's where miracles live. They don't live in the frequency of lack. They don't respond to the signal of desperation or fear. They don't emerge from the vibration of I need. They arrive through the field of I am. I am whole. I am free. I am abundant. I am already everything I once thought I needed to chase. You don't manifest by begging the universe. You manifest by becoming the version of you who no longer needs to. You might be thinking, but how do I hold that frequency when my life still looks the same? And I get it. It's easy to fall back into old patterns, to react to what your senses show you. But here's the key. Reality responds to your inner state, not the other way around. When you hold a vibration, regardless of what the outer world looks like, you override your conditioning. You become a conscious creator instead of a subconscious reactor. I've seen people heal from chronic illnesses, manifest love after years of heartbreak, step into abundance after decades of scarcity, all because they tuned their energy first. They didn't wait for the outside to change. They changed within, and the outside had no choice but to rearrange. Your thoughts are electrical. Your emotions are magnetic. Together, they form the electromagnetic field that becomes your point of attraction. So when you think a thought aligned with love and you feel it in your heart, you broadcast a signal into the quantum field that draws back a matching experience. It's not magic, it's alignment, it's physics. It's you remembering that you are a co-creator, not a victim of circumstance. Let me share a story. A woman once came to one of my events after years of battling a rare disease. She had done every treatment, tried every pill, consulted every expert, but nothing changed until she stopped trying to fix her body and started tuning into wellness. She spent weeks in meditation feeling whole, healthy, vibrant. She let go of needing healing and became the version of herself who was already healed. And slowly her body followed. Not because she forced it, but because she aligned with it. That's the power of tuning in. When you match the frequency of the reality you want, you collapse infinite possibilities into one lived experience. So what's the frequency of miracles? It's the vibration of joy for no reason, gratitude without condition, love without attachment. It's a state of being where you no longer chase outcomes. You become the field where outcomes emerge. You walk differently, you speak differently, you breathe differently, and people begin to notice. The universe begins to respond because everything changes when you do. And I don't mean change through effort, I mean change through energy, through identity, through embodiment. So here's the invitation. Each day, make time to tune in. Make space to silence the noise and amplify the signal. Feel elevated emotions before you have a reason. Think empowering thoughts before the world gives you permission. Practice gratitude like it's a language you speak fluently. Live as if the miracle has already happened. Because in the quantum field, it already has. The version of you who lives in that miracle, they already exist. And they are calling you forward, not with pressure, but with resonance. Not with struggle, but with grace. You don't need to earn your miracle. You just need to match it. And when you do, when you finally tune into the frequency of miracles, everything will change. There is a moment in every awakening journey when the veil of illusion begins to lift, when you realize that life is not just happening to you, but through you. It is in that sacred moment that the truth begins to dawn. Miracles are not rare accidents, nor gifts bestowed upon the lucky or the chosen. They are responses, clear, precise, and direct reflections of the signal you are sending out into the quantum field. Let that land, because this changes everything. We have been conditioned to believe that transformation, healing, or manifestation is unpredictable, that it depends on chance, fate, divine whim, or some cosmic lottery. But that narrative is a disempowered one, a story that places your destiny in the hands of something outside of you. And yet science and spirituality now converge to say otherwise. The universe is not chaotic. It is coherent. It is intelligent. It is responsive. And it is always listening. Not to your words, not to your surface level thoughts, but to your energy, to your signal. You are a broadcaster. Every moment of every day, you are emitting an energetic frequency into the field. That frequency is created by your dominant emotional state, your habitual thoughts, your beliefs, your attitudes. In short, your internal landscape. And the quantum field, like a cosmic mirror, reflects back to you experiences, people, events, and outcomes that resonate with that frequency. This is not philosophy, this is physics. The heart, brain, and nervous system form an intricate network that generates electromagnetic signals measurable several feet beyond the body. Your heart alone emits an electromagnetic field that is 60 times more powerful than that of the brain. When your heart and brain are in sync, when you feel emotions like love, gratitude, compassion, or joy, you enter a state of coherence. That coherence creates a clear, strong, unified signal, and the universe responds. On the other hand, when you're in fear, doubt, anxiety, or stress, your emotional signature becomes erratic. The signal becomes scrambled, weak, and fragmented, incoherence. And just like static on a radio, It makes it harder to tune into anything meaningful. The field doesn't reject you, it simply matches your noise. So when we say miracles are not random, we mean this. They are not external anomalies, they are energetic matches. They are reflections of an inner signal brought into form. They are what happens when you broadcast clarity in a world filled with noise. Let me give you an example. A man once attended one of our advanced workshops. He had been struggling with chronic financial lack, always on the edge, always chasing money. He did the visualizations, he repeated the affirmations, but his signal, his emotional state, was one of fear and scarcity. He was saying one thing but broadcasting another. When he finally understood that the field responds not to words, but to frequency, he stopped chasing. He began cultivating a deep feeling of abundance, even when his bank account said otherwise. He practiced gratitude, not because he had more, but because he was training his body to feel like he already did. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities began to flow in. Money came from directions he didn't anticipate. Why? Because his signal changed, and the field simply mirrored it. This is not magic, it is resonance. Imagine walking into a room with a tuning fork vibrating at a certain frequency. Every object in that room that resonates with that frequency begins to vibrate in harmony. That's what happens in the quantum field. When you vibrate at the frequency of love, more things that match love come into your experience. When you vibrate at the frequency of worthiness, the world reflects that worth back to you. But when you vibrate at the frequency of unworthiness, fear, or anger, that too becomes your reality. Not as punishment, but as feedback. Because here is the deeper truth. Life is not personal. It is vibrational. The field is not judging you. It is responding to you. So the question is not, why isn't my miracle here? The question is, what am I currently broadcasting that is either attracting or delaying it? Most people live in reaction to their environment. They wake up and check the outside world to determine how to feel. If the world gives them good news, they feel joy. If it gives them stress, they feel fear. But in doing so, they become victims of feedback loops. They let the past define their future. They let what is determine what will be. But you can reverse that. You can become the cause. You can send a new signal. You can wake up and generate a state of being independent of the world around you. You can feel inspired without a reason. You can feel grateful before the blessing arrives. And when you do, you activate the law of resonance. It's like changing the channel. If you're stuck on a station that plays anxiety, fear, and doubt, you can't hear the frequency of miracles. But change the channel to one that plays peace, presence, and possibility. And suddenly, you tune into a whole new reality. And here's what's even more powerful. The field doesn't just respond to elevated emotions, it amplifies them. When you broadcast love, it doesn't just echo love back, it draws to you the experiences that deepen that love. It composes a symphony of aligned events, weaving them together into what you call a miracle. But you must stay consistent. If you meditate in gratitude for 15 minutes and then worry for the rest of the day, your dominant frequency is still worry. The universe doesn't respond to moments, it responds to momentum. So ask yourself, what am I rehearsing emotionally? What internal movie am I playing on repeat? What story am I telling myself and feeling every single day? Because that is your signal. That is your command to the universe. And here's the good news. You can change it right now, in this moment. You can pause. You can close your eyes. You can breathe deeply into your heart. You can begin to feel something different. And as you do, your entire broadcast changes. You don't need to fix your whole life to shift your reality. You only need to change the signal you send, because when you do, the external begins to organize around that new inner world. That's how healing begins. That's how love arrives. That's how abundance flows. Not from hustle, not from luck, not from begging the universe, but from alignment, from coherence, from elevated emotion and clear intention. So today I invite you to step into the role of the conscious broadcaster. Become aware of your signal. Own your energy. Create coherence between your mind and heart. And most of all, trust that the universe is listening, because it is. It always has been, and it always will be. The field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. Change your signal, and the response will transform. And when that happens, the miracles that once felt so far away will suddenly arrive right on time. What if everything you've been waiting for, the healing, the love, the abundance, the breakthrough, isn't in the future and isn't in the past? What if it lives in a place you rarely visit? What if the life you dream of is patiently waiting in the unknown? This idea may feel foreign at first, even uncomfortable, because we've been taught to fear the unknown, to avoid it, to cling to what is familiar, even if it no longer serves us. But what if I told you that the unknown is not the void we've been warned about, but the womb of creation? That it is not emptiness, but infinite potential. The unknown is not chaos. It is the canvas. It is the quantum field, a realm that holds all possibilities, all timelines, all outcomes. But to enter it, you must be willing to leave the confines of the known. And that's where transformation truly begins. You see, your brain is wired for survival. It seeks predictability. It loves what's familiar, even if that familiarity is pain. That's why people stay in relationships that drain them. That's why they repeat emotional cycles they swore they'd escape. Because to the subconscious mind, the known equals safety. But safety is not the same as evolution. To evolve, you must break the loop. And that means choosing to step into unfamiliar emotions, unfamiliar thoughts, unfamiliar actions. It means becoming someone you've never been so you can live a life you've never known. The quantum field doesn't respond to your past, it responds to your presence, to the signal you are sending right now. But if every day you wake up and think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, take the same actions, then by definition, you are creating more of the same. Your future isn't ahead of you. It exists in the unknown. To access it, you must break free from the identity you've memorized, from the story you've repeated to yourself about who you are, what you deserve, what you can or cannot have. You must release that story to become the space for a new one. You can't reach the new shore while clinging to the old dock. You can't welcome the miracle with fists clenched around certainty. The unknown begins the moment you stop trying to control your reality and start surrendering to a deeper intelligence. That's not weakness, that's not passivity, that's power. Because to surrender means to trust in the unseen. To trust that there is a field of infinite intelligence organizing life in ways your rational mind cannot comprehend. When you meditate and lose your sense of time, when you drop into stillness and feel that sacred emptiness, that's the unknown. And in that space, the old you dissolves. The past is no longer your reference point. The future begins to impress itself upon your field. You begin to embody the emotions of a life not yet lived, but already real in the field. And that's the key. Feel it before it arrives. Because when you feel joy without a reason, gratitude without a condition, love without a source, you are aligning with the frequency of your desired future. You are drawing it in. You are collapsing possibilities into particles. You are becoming the bridge between potential and manifestation. Let go of the known, and you become a magnet for the miraculous. But yes, the unknown is uncomfortable. It demands presence. It confronts your ego. It asks you to walk without a map, to trust your inner compass more than your outer circumstances. Most people live in repetition. They wake up and download their identity from the past. They feel what they felt yesterday. They rehearse the same worries, anticipate the same problems, expect the same outcomes, and so they stay in the loop. They live by memory instead of vision. But the ones who change their lives, they do something different. They wake up and choose presence over prediction. They step into the unknown with their hearts open and their minds clear. They become curious. They become intentional. They become available to receive what they cannot yet name. The universe cannot fill your hands if they are full of control. Empty them. Let go of needing to know how or when or through whom. Let go of timelines. Let go of attachments. And instead, trust the frequency you're embodying. Because if you remain in trust, the universe has no choice but to reflect that back to you. Here's a practice. Every morning, close your eyes and say, "Today I enter the unknown. I leave behind who I've been. I become the space for something greater. I don't need to know what or how. I just need to feel it, believe it, become it." This is how you move out of the old script. This is how you stop recycling your past into your future. This is how you create, because the unknown is not nothingness. It is not danger. It is pure potential. And that potential is watching, waiting, listening for the moment when you step beyond the old self, beyond the fear, beyond the story. And in that moment, it rushes in to meet you. I've seen it happen thousands of times. People who let go of their logical expectations, who stepped into meditation with nothing but an open heart, only to find themselves healed, inspired, reborn. They became different. And the universe had no choice but to reorganize around that difference. You don't have to know what's coming. You just have to know who you're becoming. And who you're becoming is not limited by your past. The life you're seeking is not hiding from you. It is waiting for you in the unknown, where your courage and your curiosity and your willingness to let go unlock everything you were meant to receive. Let me ask you something. What if everything you're trying so hard to manifest is being delayed, not because it's out of reach, but because you're holding on too tightly? What if the very act of chasing is signaling to the universe that you don't believe it's already yours? We've been taught that desire requires effort, that wanting something badly enough means pushing, grinding, forcing, obsessing. But in the quantum world, that energy, the energy of grasping, needing, insisting, is actually a signal of lack. And the field doesn't respond to your goals. It responds to your energy. Trying too hard doesn't attract, it repels. Because energetically, when you say, "I need this to happen," you're really saying, "It's not here. I don't have it. I am not it." And the field, which mirrors your frequency, reflects that reality back to you.